Hey, what's up guys, it's Theo from Fino Concept. So today we are going to create this design for our food company, or it can be for makeup or anything related to that. Basically, this is a business flyer that you can use for whatever business it is that you are doing. Anyway, let's just get started. Welcome to Fino Concept. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Alright, as always, I'm going to be using Photoshop for this, so I'll go ahead and open it up. And I'm going to create a new document. Let's set the size to that of an A4, so I'll have it selected over here. If for some reason you don't have it here in your recent items, just go to print and click on A4. And it's going to automatically adjust everything for you. So I'll click on create and now we can start designing. Alright, so I have a bunch of food items from, I don't know, I just got this from Google just before starting this. So these are what you are going to be using. If you have food that you've been producing yourself, then that is what you use. Don't grab them from the internet like I did. Oh, I've forgotten that when you do this, it's it minimizes your screen. Anyway, so let's go ahead and grab the pen tool, which is right around here, and we are going to create a couple of shapes. The first one is going to be some form of an ellipse, so I'll click and drag and make it look something like this, and I'll click this side also. In case yours is not creating this, make sure that you have it set to shape up here and you have a fill color and there's no stroke. So set to shape, have a specific fill color, and stroke is set to the first preset, which is none. Then you can start doing the exact same thing I have in here. So I just click around this area, making sure that it fills it up, and I'll just hit enter on my keyboard. Now I have my first shape. So normally I'll create another one, but since this is a shape, I can just duplicate using Ctrl J. Then I'll select the bottom one. With the bottom one, I'll just double click and take a darker color, probably a darker turquoise, and have it somewhere here. I shouldn't even use turquoise. It's going to look a lot nicer if it was some form of reddish, because I read this from somewhere. They said red induces hunger. That's why most flyers are red, but you know what, let's just stick with this for now. So I'll create probably one more, select the one at the bottom. Then instead of a darker color, I'll select the lighter one more time, and I'll also bring that somewhere around here. So we have some different shades in there like so. Now this is looking cool. I always prefer grouping my things, so I'll select all of these three, hold down Ctrl and press Ctrl G. So this is going to group them up for me, and I'll call this probably background. Let's leave it as that. Then I'll create another group by clicking on this icon right here, down here. The second icon from the right, and I'll also call it, let's call them images. Now inside the images, making sure that that folder is selected, I'm going to be creating a couple of circles. So with that, I'll just be using the ellipse tool. I'll click and drag whilst holding down the shift key so that I get a perfect circle. I think something like this is okay. At any point in time, if you want to increase it, you can just go ahead and increase while still holding down the shift key, of course. Now, since the color of my ellipse and the color of my background are the same, you can hardly see. So you know what, let's double click. Since it is a shape, let's double click and maybe change it to white. Yeah, maybe change it to white. Then I'll place it somewhere around here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a drop shadow so that I can see, or we will see some form of separation from the background and the ellipse we have here. So for that, I'll go into FX, which is also down here, second icon from the right. So this one was the third icon anyway. Then I'll click on drop shadow. Now with the drop shadow, I'll go ahead and manipulate it to whichever size I want. I think somewhere around 100 is okay. Then I'm also going to bring it somewhere around here and reduce the opacity to about 30. I think 30 is okay. The distance, I'll also make it come a bit closer rather than being all the way somewhere like this. So I think 0 is also fine. And I'll just click on no, but before that, I also want to add in a stroke. So let's just add in a stroke. And I think stroke of about this big is okay. So mine is set to 20, yours might be different. and I have the position set to inside instead of outside. I've said this in previous tutorials, so let's just fast forward. Inside is better to get that specific angle we want. So I'll just click on OK, but I actually want this stroke to be white, so I'll just change the color to white and click on OK. Now you can hardly see because the color is white and the stroke is also white. So you know what, let's just change the color to probably black. This isn't going to affect our design. We are actually going to put an image on top, so this doesn't really matter. So with that done, let's make sure that the ellipse is still highlighted, and I'll hit Ctrl J to create another duplicate, reduce the size to something like this, and I'll place it somewhere around here. Okay, let's do it one more time. Ctrl J. I'll bring this one somewhere around here and make it much smaller. So I think something like this. But you know what? I'm actually going to put this behind that so that I don't know, it looks nicer that way. So that this will be on top, like you can see from here. So I just click and drag and put it beneath it like so. So let's go ahead and grab in some images and start our editing. So let me go to my file explorer. Let's start off with, I think this image looks very nice and is huge. You know what, let's start with this. I'll click and drag and drop it in here. Can't place this because of the format, blah blah blah. Oh, okay, it's actually in WEB web page format, so I can't click and drag it in there. How unfortunate. Now I have a way of correcting this. I think I used Photoscape. This is a free software. You can download it from, I think, File Hippo. Basically just Google search and you'll be able to find it. So I'll go into editor, then I'll click and drag in here. Oh, for some reason that is also not opening. You know what, let's try with paint. If this doesn't work, then we just have to screenshot. So click and drag. Okay, funny enough, paint worked. So I'll go to file and click on save as. This time around I'll save it as a JPEG file, and yeah, let's leave it at my pic. You know what, let's leave it as desktop, and I'll click on save. Yes, I want to continue. So let's do the exact same thing for the rest. File, save as, JPEG, save. Stop reminding me. File, save as, JPEG. In case you are not hearing the sound again, I had to turn off my audio. It was interrupting. I really took my time in downloading these images. Now I am not the creator of these images, so this is just for tutorial sake. I wouldn't be using this for a client's work, so you shouldn't also be doing that. Anyway, so yeah, let's go ahead and delete all these. I need that one. So in my desktop I should find them here. Interesting, we'll just work with what we have. So I'll just click and drag this one in here like so, and I'll resize it to fit what I have in here for the bigger ellipse. I think something like this is okay. Now I'll make sure that this spaghetti I have here is on top of the bigger ellipse, which is the one down here. And once it is on top, exactly on top, not like this, exactly on top, I right click and go to create clipping mask, and this is going to mask it on top of that. So it's basically going to show only where the ellipse is. So I'll probably place it somewhere around here. You can resize it to whatever you want. I think something like this is okay. Then I'll be doing the exact same thing for the rest. So I'll have the second one. Let's just click and drag it here, place it somewhere here. Also making sure it is on top, directly on top. I right click, go to create clipping mask, and resize it to whatever size I want. I think something like this should be fine. Okay, then I'll do it for the last one. I know some of you will pause to see what I have in there, but it doesn't really matter. I was just watching Boruto. I haven't updated myself in a long while. So right click, go to create clipping mask. Yeah, I think something like this is also fine. Now you can see we are getting somewhere. I still want to change this color. You know what, let's go ahead and change it in the background. So I'll select this and make it, I don't know, I think this looks nice for me. I'm actually editing on my TV, so I can't really tell what the colors look like. I should shift to the monitor, but the monitor isn't in 1080p, so yeah, I can hardly see what I'm doing. I'll probably change this color to, yeah, I think something like this should be fine. The TV is very terrible for editing. You know what? I have a feeling this thing looks good, so I'll leave it as that. Then probably change this color as well. I would prefer it being a little bit orangey. I think something like this is okay. I should probably save my work right about now. So let's call this okay. Now let's add in another image. I'm going to use this one because it is the most beautiful I've seen so far. I wish we could go with a much darker color, and I'll make it fill the entire screen here. Now once I do that, if I click and drag and drop it just beneath the background, it should be behind everything else. So if I collapse all of these, this is what we have, something like this. So basically this is all about food. Anyway, I think I should bring this down just a little bit so that I can show the food rather than having them covering it like so. I think something like this is fine. All right, now that's cool. Now I'm going to add in my information. Now to do that, I'll also create a new group and call it text. The reason why I do that is it makes it a lot easier when you are editing everything all together. So let's say something like delicious food services. I'll have them aligned to the right, and I'll probably go with Gotham font because it looks nicer and I like the font. And once I do that, I'll also go into character options. If you don't have that, just go to window, click on character. Then over here, just make sure that you have your points. Let me set it to about 60. 60 looks a bit too much. Probably 48 still looks too much. Probably 30. I think 30 is okay. Now I want to stretch out the font. You see that they are a bit wider than they are taller. That is what I want to achieve. And currently it's set to 90. So what I'll do is I'll stretch it up to right around 110. I think 110 is okay. Let's try 100 at its original and see. I think 100 is okay, so we just leave it as that. So highlight this and I'll change the color right up here to probably white, and I'll highlight this also. Then I'll change it to probably this yellow or orange color. I think the yellow looks better. Then yeah, so I'm basically going to be leaving this somewhere around here. You know what, let me increase the size of this. Let's make this 36 or probably 48. No, let's play with the slider and see what we get. So yeah, I think 45 looks okay. So we have something like this. Again, let me go ahead and save. So if you have any other information, you can add it in there, but since I don't have any, I'll just click and drag, and Adobe Photoshop should just add in the lorem ipsum text for me. So I'll go ahead and change the font to probably Gotham, the light version, and I'll also reduce the size, and it is just going to be filling in with some random text for me. Yeah, I think something like this is okay. Now obviously I don't want this color, I want it to be white, so I'll just change the color to white right around there. Now if you have any other information like the location, contact info, and probably if you have a website, you can also add it in there, which I'm going to do right now. But before that, I also want to add in a couple of tweaks, just a little bit on top of the background. So you know what, let's group them up and let's have them as just group 1. I'll create another one as group 2. Grab the pen tool one more time because I'm drawing, and I'll just have it somewhere around here. Create a curve like so. Something like this should be fine. Now I'll hold down the Alt key right around this area. You notice that the cursor changes to this, and I'll bring this back to where I started from, somewhere around here. Then I'll click probably this area. Then I'll click on the starting point from here, and I'll create another arc like so. Now using the pen tool comes with some form of practice, else you are always going to be making mistakes at some point. So just try and practice as much as possible. Now I'll duplicate this, Control J, so I have two of this. I'll have the bottom one move up just a little bit. Now I can't see because they are the same color. You know what, let me change the one at the bottom to the darker or the orange version. You know what, let's pick the lighter version rather. Then the one on top will be the orange version. So something like this is okay. Now I can obviously go ahead and manipulate it to suit whatever I want. So basically that is it. Now let's bring this down just a little bit. I wouldn't want it to interfere with my text. So let's have it something like so. Hit enter on my keyboard and it is confirmed. I can also push this away so that everyone is I say everyone as if they are human. Everything is aligned perfectly. Okay, now this is cool. So let's add in another set of information. Now let's collapse this. So delicious food, our text. Then I'm going to create a rectangle using the rectangle tool. It's obviously set to shape. I have a fill, but this time around I'm going to set the fill to none and the stroke to a fill color, which is the second one. So about 5 pixels I think is okay. And I'm also going to make it short dashes instead of a straight line or borders. Then I'll create something like about this big and see what we have. Okay, this is looking cool. So I can use the move tool to place it to wherever I want. Then once I'm done, I can just start typing. Because you notice I don't click inside the rectangle and start typing because it's going to fill up that area. I don't want that. I want to type outside and bring my information in there. So I'll click somewhere outside and I'll type something like order. Obviously, I'll make this left align and I'll place it somewhere here. Then I'll also change the font to probably Gotham Black because I want it to be thicker. So something like this is cool. I'll place it somewhere around here. Then if you have a phone number, let's say +233, I don't know, something like this, you can also add it in there like so. Sorry if this is someone else's number, please don't call. It's just for tutorial sake. So I'll place this somewhere around here. And if you also have a website, you can add it in there. This I would like you to visit, I don't mind, www.theolabi.com, and probably change the font to, instead of regular, I can just, instead of the bold, I can just use book or something of that sort. Just create something simple and be able to use it. Let's select the rectangle and make it smaller. So something like this is looking cool. I like what we are achieving already. So if you have a logo, you can put it somewhere around here, but I don't have a logo for food, so let's just use the regular logo for that. Now I'll grab the rectangle tool this time around, but before drawing I have to change my settings. So I have this time around I want a fill and I want no stroke, and I'll draw a rectangle like this, place it somewhere around here. Now notice that the rectangle is on top of these other two shapes I have created. I don't want that, so I'll just click and bring it beneath those two shapes over here, which is this one. I know grouping them is very important, so I'll double click and change this to a white background. Then I'll just add in my logo, which should be somewhere around here. So let's just click. Wow, this thing is huge, and place it somewhere around here should be fine. Let's zoom out and see what we are working with. Yeah, I think this is looking cool. So far so good. Now we can't just leave this as that. We have to add in some things like the prices and maybe something to catch the eyes of the one looking at this. So to do that, I'll just grab my ellipse tool. You know what, let's find custom shape tool somewhere here. Look up here at the toolbar, you have these options. Now I'm going to select a custom shape, probably this one looks cool to me, and I'll create a shape like, no, this actually looked way nicer than I thought it would be. You know what, let's just use a circle instead. So we create a circle like this, then zoom in and change the color, of course. So double click and I'll select probably this yellow color should we use dark? No, what? I'll select this yellow color and click on OK. Then we'll add in a stroke. So go into FX, which is down here, click on stroke. Then I'll change the stroke color to this one. Or probably I should do it the other way around. I think this is okay, and I'll just click on OK and OK. So if you have any form of text, notice I'm not clicking inside the shape, outside. If you have any form of text like special offer 30% discounts, something like that. Now I can center this text and I'll place it in here like so. 30% has to be bigger because why not? We want to attract as many customers as possible. Now if I go into the character options window, character, I can click on all caps for this, so everything is going to be capital letters. Now you notice that the text here and the text here are spaced out a lot. This is something I do not want, so I'll select this text and I'll pull it closer. And to do that, you see this icon we have here. We have A out of A or A on top of A. Just pull the slider to the left and it's just going to close them up for you. So we have something like this. You know what? Let's change the size from 18 to probably 14 and do the exact same thing. I think this is okay. Yeah, I think I can live with this. I can also add a drop shadow to this. So FX drop shadow to create some form of separation from the background. So let's make this much smaller. Something like this is okay. So yeah, this is the design we can work with. If there are other things you want to add in, like the price of the individual foods, you can just use what information you have here. Just copy and paste on top of them like so, and you are good to go. I would prefer I bring this these two somewhere around here, then these two also somewhere around here, so that at least it fills up those extra gaps. So basically that is it. I'm just going to, don't mind the cork in the background, I'm just going to duplicate and put this on top. I have them on top so that the pricing can be here. So one can be here, another one can be Ctrl J to duplicate, another one can be here, and the third one can be somewhere around here like so. This is going to be much bigger. So basically that is it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to watch more of our videos, hit that subscribe button, and as always, don't forget to share with your family and friends. This is still from Fino Concept, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.